Feels a little bit like I'm choosing between my children right now. So yeah, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my favourite Swedish Fika. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Fika is a concept that you really need to get familiar with before you come to visit Sweden. And the reason for that is because they are very protective over the concept of Fika, and rightly so. The closest way that I can explain this, and I really hope if there's any Swedes watching that I'm not offending you, it's basically a coffee break that involves some sort of like discussion and communication and like discussion time with other people, and it involves some sort of sweet delicacy usually, and as I say, a coffee. So it's basically coffee time, but you can't say that because it's so much more than that. It's like a way of life here. And in Sweden, Fika time happens at least twice a day. Before lunch you have a Fika, and after lunch you have a Fika. So in between the different meals of the day there is always a Fika. And as I say, it's usually a time, even in the workplace or at school, where people come together and they just kind of relax, take it easy, talk about something different and enjoy each other's company and some great treats. And if you live in Sweden or you're going to visit Sweden, it's one of the best things that you've got to look forward to, because who doesn't love the opportunity to sit down and eat some treats twice a day? And some people follow it very religiously, depending on where you are in the country. I thought it'd be fun if I tried to explain what my favourite fikas were, or my favourite sweet fika snacks that you would have. And that's hard in itself because it feels a little bit like I'm choosing between my children right now, but I'm going to try and give you my top 5 from 5 all the way to number 1 in terms of what my favourite fika are. Let's get into it then, shall we? So my number 5 favourite fika, kanelbulle, which is a cinnamon bun. So Sweden is famous for its cinnamon buns. You know exactly the ones I'm talking about, not those American equivalents with their icing and their sugar and stuff. We're talking a bun, quite thick and round, and just baked to perfection in the oven. You walk past any shop in Sweden, any coffee shop or things like that, you're bound to see them in the window, along with their equivalent sisters, the Cardamom Bun. But for me, you think of Sweden, you have to think of cinnamon buns. You have to have them. They're too good to avoid, and there's a really cozy feeling about having a cinnamon bun, so it had to feature on my list. Number 4, I'm going to choose a Kladdkaka. Is a chocolate ball. You get the oats and you kind of grind them all up together, create like a perfect snowball out of them, and then cover them in like sprinkles or some sort of other equivalent sweet decoration. And then you just bite into them. You hold them as a whole and you just bite away, chunk after chunk. It's one of those things that, again, so super simple, but when you're looking for a simple, quick fika, I would say Kladdkaka is where it's at. So that's number 4. Number 3, and this is where it gets tough because these next 3, I love all of them. It was really difficult to narrow this down to a list, but I'll do my best. Number 3 is the princesstårta. If you don't know what princesstårta is, it's the cake that's got the green icing on top traditionally. I know there's some of you that may be frantically Googling right now what princesstårta is. Translates to princess cake. It was actually called green cake, I believe, for a while originally. But it was the reason it got its name as princess cake, as it translates to in English, is because it was one of the cakes that the royal family used to get baked quite a lot. There were 3 young daughters, they had a teacher, the teacher baked them fika quite often, and one of the princess's favourite cakes was the green cake, so instead of calling it grön tårta, they changed the name to princesstårta. Well, that's how that happened. I don't know if the queen or the king said, I hereby decree we're going to call it princess cake from now on, or how that kind of transition actually happened, but that is where the name comes from, that the princess liked it. But yeah, it's basically a layer of icing, a huge layer of like whipped cream, and then like a sponge type cake, all put together in sort of like an archway shape. It looks like I'm just building a house on the screen, but you know what I mean, hopefully. And if you don't, look it up, and if you're in Sweden, make sure you give it a try. Just look out for the one with the green icing. Number 2 has to be Kladdkaka. Kladdkaka is, if you translate it, it's sticky cake, I guess you would say. And the closest thing I can say is it's sort of a bit like a mud cake, a bit like a brownie, very gooey, very chocolatey, very rich. And you bake it in like a cake tin, and it comes out kind of, I don't know, like this tall, what's that? Maybe like 15, 20 centimetres, and you just chop out little slices, and you can share it with people. It's great to take to parties, it's great to have at home, very easy and simple. It's the kind of fika that anyone can make, but so effective. And I love nothing more than when you go into like a cafe place in town and you want to have some coffee, get a slice of Kladdkaka with it, with some whipped cream on the side. It couldn't be better. It's to die for. So that's my number 2, which leaves you all wondering what could possibly be better than that. Well, the answer is at this time of year, or actually about a month ago, in Sweden, they have, to mark the start of Lent, a very particular bun, which is called a Semla. There isn't really a translation of what that is, but basically it's a cardamom spiced bun. You like hack the top layer off, like a small little circular top layer, and then when you take that little lid off, you fill the top with cream, and then you put the lid back on, and then cover it in icing sugar and things like that. Inside the cardamom bun traditionally is this paste that's called mandelmassa, and it's basically like crushed up almonds. I'm a big almond lover, so I absolutely love Semla season. So that is my favourite Swedish fika. If you've been to Sweden, what is your favourite fika? If you're from Sweden, have I missed something? You've got to let me know down below. Thank you for checking out this video. What you've just seen is a preview of this week's Just a Brit Abroad podcast, which will be released in its entirety here on this channel on Saturday. It's my culture, lifestyle and travel podcast, talking about all things living abroad, learning new languages. If you liked what you saw today, you're going to want to be back here on Saturday for the full episode, so make sure that you subscribe and push that bell so you're notified as soon as the episode comes out. But as I say, thank you, and until Saturday, I'll see you soon.